Hey guys, welcome back. And today we are going to be doing my final mock draft of the 2024 cycle. This has been a surreal year. We came into this draft at about 700 subscribers. We are almost at 2,500 now. So we've almost four times the amount of followers we had at this time last year, which is truly surreal to me. This has been a dream of mine for so long. And to see all the hard work finally start to pay off, it means a lot. But this is just the beginning, guys. 2025 is going to be the best and biggest year yet. So much is happening. Stay tuned. Got a huge announcement coming tomorrow on the day of the draft. But we're going to be doing my final one-round mock draft today. I know my screen's a little laggy. The Wi-Fi in Colorado is absolute garbage. So bear with me here. I know the audio might be a little bit off from my voice. I might be a little bit slow at points, but just hang with me here. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, comment down below who you want your favorite team to draft. Let's go ahead and get into it with the number one pick, and it is going to be Caleb Williams. I don't really think I need to explain it anymore. If you don't know about Caleb Williams, I don't know what to tell you. He's going to be the number one pick, and I don't really think there's any question about it. At number two, it is the Washington Commanders, and this is a very interesting spot for Washington because they're going to go quarterback. They traded Sam Howell to Seattle. We know quarterback is in play here. Who are they going to go get? You got Drake May here. It seems like May might fall a little bit further down the boards. Jaden Daniels, there's been some talks that he doesn't want to play in Washington, so I'm not really sure what to make of those reports. And then you got J.J. McCarthy, who right now, his betting odds to go number two have skyrocketed in the last week. And I'm going to kind of buy into that smoke screen. I don't think this is a Will Levis situation last year where he's not going to get taken. I think he's a better overall prospect than Will Levis is. He's got great arm talent. He's mobile. He can throw the ball on a string. He can do everything you want your star quarterback to do. I think JJ is going to go two, which then I think means New England, they're trying to trade back and get more capital. It's a deeper quarterback class, which, you know, you got Michael Penix and Bo Nix, who could go in round one. They're probably round two guys. New England might want to get one of those and boost their offensive line. And from everything we're hearing, the Las Vegas Raiders are desperate to try and trade up. So I'm going to have the Raiders trade up to number three. So the Raiders gave up quite a bit. They gave up pick number 13. They gave up their first and third next year and their second this year. Pretty similar to what the Texans gave up last year to move up to select Will Anderson. And they're going to take Jaden Daniels, the quarterback from LSU. Antonio Pierce was his coach at Arizona State. There's some buzz there that they both have incredibly high interest in reuniting. I think Jaden Daniels will be perfect for this team. You've got him weapons already in Jacoby Myers. You drafted Michael Mayer, and of course, Devontae Adams is still there. I think Jaden Daniels makes a lot of sense. New England gets much needed draft capital. I think New England's going to end up trading this pick on draft night. Now, a lot of talks that Arizona could look to move this. I just don't see it happening. I think they need a Godfather offer, and I don't think the Vikings really are going to do that. And I'm going to have them trade up, or I'm going to have them stay put, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., the best player in this draft class, in my opinion. One of the best receiver prospects you've ever seen. His size, his speed, his route running. He could do everything at an extremely high level, and I think that's what Arizona needs. Now, at 5, the Chargers are sitting here, and Minnesota's got to make a move now. Minnesota sees the Giants sitting there with Drake May on the board. The Vikings, with their 2 first-round picks, they're going to move up here with the Chargers. So picks 11 and 23 are headed to Los Angeles, as well as a future first from Minnesota. I do think it's going to be a massive haul that it's going to take, but they're going to get Drake May, and I think he's immediately set up with a ton of success. A good offensive line with Christian Darrisaw. They've got pieces on this team that I think are going to make them real contenders. And you've got a quarterback with an extremely high ceiling. I think we see 4 quarterbacks go in the top 5 and then Marvin Harrison Jr. At number 6, the Giants are sitting here. No quarterbacks worth taking. They could look to trade back. They could take Joe Alt as well, which I think is very possible. But I think receiver is where I'm going to go with the Giants. Everyone loves Malik Neighbors, and I get it. The speed is there. He can beat almost anybody down the field. You love that about Malik Neighbors. But I think the Giants have enough speed in their wide receiver room, and they need an X receiver. We're going to take Rome Odunze here to the New York Giants at 6. Pass up on Malik Neighbors. From everybody that I've talked to, Rome Odunze seems to be higher on a lot of people's boards simply because he's got that size to play on the outside. Malik Neighbors is a great talent. He's probably going to be an elite slot at the next level, while Rome Odunze can be that number one X-type receiver for your offense. I think that's what the Giants are looking for. That's what I'm going to have them do at 6. And number 7, a pick that really hasn't changed the entire draft process. It's going to be Joe Alt. I know some people have talked about the Titans going receiver. I just don't see it in this draft class. There's so much good receiver talent, and they desperately need to upgrade at the offensive line and take their starting left tackle for the next decade. And number 8, Atlanta's sitting in a spot with Malik Neighbors on the board, and I think a team is going to come calling to try and jump Chicago. I think Jacksonville is going to make the call, but I don't think their offer is going to be as good as what the Indianapolis Colts are going to have to offer, and I'm going to have the Colts trade up to number 8. So the Colts have traded picks 15 and 46, as well as a future draft pick, to move up to 8 and trade up for the first time in the Chris Ballard era and select Malik Neighbors. They brought him in for a visit. They are a team that is looking to add playmakers for Anthony Richardson. And now you've got Josh Downs and Malik Neighbors, 2 electric, speedy receivers that I think are going to really help the development of Anthony Richardson. Neighbors has the ability to win downfield. While he's not the most physical receiver in the world, you've got Alec Pierce, you've got Michael Pittman. They're trying to upgrade this receiver room. I think Malik Neighbors immediately comes in with Anthony Richardson and creates one of the deadliest quarterback receiver duos in the NFL. At number 9, the Bears are sitting here, and I think a team like the New Orleans Saints is just looking at the board. The Jets, the Chargers, and now the Patriots all sit in front of you. This team is in desperate need of a tackle. Left tackle, right tackle. They need offensive line help so desperately that I'm going to have the Saints trade up to number 9 to try and jump these teams to get their tackle. So the Saints did move pick 15 and 45, pick way down the board at like 170 in a future 5th rounder. It is a lot to move up 5 spots, but this team absolutely needs to upgrade at tackle. We're not going to take Olu Fashanu here. We are going to select Troy Fautanu out of Washington, a guy who's really skyrocketed this pre-draft process. He has the length to play tackle. He has the athleticism to play guard. He has phenomenal footwork. I think this makes so much sense for the Saints. They've got a guy who can play both tackle positions, both guard positions, and Trevor Penning wasn't good. Ryan Ramczyk's health is, we don't know if he's going to be able to play football anymore. They need to upgrade their offensive line, and I think Fautanu gives them more versatility than Olu Fashanu. So I'm going to have them move up to select him at 9. A lot of trades here, but the Jets, I think they're going to explore a trade down. I don't really think anyone's going to be biting here. And I'm going to have them just stay put and select Brock Bowers. This just seems like a perfect spot for Brock Bowers. This is a weapon unlike what the Jets have. You can use him on jet sweeps. You can use him really anywhere that you want to. He's a receiver. He's a blocker, both of which are things that the Jets need. They don't pick again until 72, so I think they'd like to add a second in there. I think the Cowboys could come calling, but I just don't think they're going to have an offer good enough to accept. At number 11, we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and I'm going to take a corner here. I know the receiver talent's there. You got Brian Thomas Jr. I think you could stay put. You got pick 23 still. We are going to take Terrion Arnold out of Alabama, a guy who could play in the slot. He could play on the outside. He's an SEC battle-tested corner. I think that's exactly what this team needs. I think Harbaugh is going to try and prioritize defense first. And I think Terrion Arnold gives them a little bit more versatility on that outside. So I'm going to take him at 11. At 12, I would have gone Bo Nix here, but it feels like there is some buzz that the Broncos, after trading for Zach Wilson, this isn't the year they're going to go in for a quarterback. They have very little draft capital right now. So I'm going to have them trade back with a team that is going to be looking to jump the Falcons, the Seahawks, and the Bears to take the top edge rusher off the board. And that's going to be the Los Angeles Rams. So the Broncos trade back from 12 to 19. They also pick up a second-round pick in the process. The Rams are going to move up. And as much as I like Laiatu Latu, he's my number one edge rusher, I think the upside of Dallas Turner is tremendous. He's got incredible athleticism, length. He can really do everything you want him to do on the edge rush position. He's a good run defender. He's still a little bit raw as a pass rusher, but you can see the upside is certainly there for him. So I'm going to have the Rams trade up, pair him with Kobe Turner, pair him with Byron Young, and now you've got a very formidable future defense. This team has more picks than they know what to do with. I think they can afford to move some capital right now and trade up for Dallas Turner. At 13, we got the Patriots, and I think they're in desperate need of a tackle. They brought back Michael Winu. Cole Strange has been fine, but they need a tackle, and it is going to be Olu Fashanu for me. I think he's kind of fallen under the radar in terms of he's not the most athletic guy, but he's just a brick wall. He's almost impossible to move, it seems. And I think this is a perfect situation for him to fall into. To be the starting left tackle, they're going to take a quarterback now. They've got another second-round pick, so maybe they could trade back into the first round if they want to get that fifth-year option. But I think the Patriots make a move here, and they're going to build up the trenches here and take Olu Fashanu at 13. At number 14, we got the Bears. I do think they're going to go defense, and I'm going to go with the best defensive player in the class, in my opinion. It's Laiatu Latu. He's just more pro-ready, I think. I think he fits this defense beautifully. He's going to be an excellent complement on the opposite side of Montez Sweat. And now you've got a very fun edge rush duo, and this defense is going to be one of the scarier units in football. They have also picked up future capital from the Saints as well, so I think this is a huge win for the Bears to get a guy that I might have taken for them at 9. At number 15, the Falcons and the Colts swapped picks, and I think they're going to get a guy who I think they very well could take at 8, and it's going to be Jared Verse. This team really hasn't been able to create pressure, and I think Verse gives them a little bit of versatility. He could play that outside linebacker role. He could play the 4-3 edge. He's very powerful, very strong. And I think at 15, they now have a edge rusher who can really do some damage for them down the line. And now they've got a really good defense that they've got picks later. They can improve the secondary, but I think Jared Verse is going to be an excellent addition here at 15. So I'm going to have the I'm going to have the Falcons take him at 15. Number 16, we got the Seattle Seahawks, and I think this is a trade down. I think if you're a team like the Eagles, Quinyon Mitchell's still on the board. You're looking at Seattle. You're looking at Jacksonville, even Cincinnati and Denver. I think the Eagles are going to come calling and trade up to pick 16. So it works out pretty well for Seattle because they get a second-round pick, which they gave up for Leonard Williams. So they get pick 53 and 20. And then the Eagles move up to get a corner who I absolutely love in Quinyon Mitchell. He's got the size. He's got the quickness. He's excellent in zone coverage, but he has shown upside in press and man. He tested out phenomenally at the combine. I love this guy, and at pick 16, I think this is tremendous value. So I'm going to have the Eagles move up and select him. At number 17, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. A bit of a tough spot for me here. I think they could go a number of different ways with this one. Do you want to go corner? Do you want to go, where do you want to go if you're this team? But I think receiver is a big need, and we're actually going to have them not select a receiver here. They're going to trade this pick for Brandon Ayuk. So the 49ers trade Brandon Ayuk for pick 17, very reminiscent of the A.J. Brown trade just 2 years ago. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. So the Niners now have need at receiver. Brian Thomas Jr. is on the board, so it makes sense, right? In theory, it does, but it's such a deep wide receiver class that I'm going to hold off on taking a receiver here, and I'm going to take an offensive tackle. I know that they extended I'm blanking on the right tackle's name. It's going to come to me at some point. They extended him. You've got Trent Williams, obviously. But I'm going to take a guy who I absolutely love here, and I think could go higher than people expect in Amarius Mims. There's a great tackle class. They're going to get some value at the tackle position down the board. But Mims has the highest ceiling of any tackle in this draft class. He's athletic. He's very good in pass protection. He's got great footwork. I'm going to have the Niners take him at 17 to be their future long-term right tackle. At number 18, we're going to take Talise Fuaga for the Bengals. He's going to play guard for us. We're going to move Cordell Volson out, and we're going to throw Talise Fuaga in. He's a mauler in the run game. He's extremely athletic, Maybe a bit unpolished to play tackle, but I think his upside is absolutely through the roof. And they need to prioritize protecting Joe Burrow. So I'm going to have them do that at number 18, and the Bengals are going to select Talise Fuaga. At 19, the Broncos are back on the clock. And what are they going to do here? I'm going to have a trade because I think they're going to do a double trade down, get more future capital because Brian Thomas Jr. is still on the board. The Steelers could take him. The Seahawks could take him. The Chargers would definitely take him. I'm going to have Buffalo come calling up to 19 to take their receiver of the future. So Denver trades back a second time, and they're going to get more future capital. They've now got 2 second-rounders in this class where they can really do some damage. They still have a first. They got a future pick that was from the Stephon Diggs trade, and Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be in Buffalo. It seems like from all the reports that we're hearing that Brian Thomas Jr. is the receiver that Buffalo loves. He's got size. He's got speed to win on the outside. I think he is an excellent pairing now with Josh Allen, and you've got him a number one weapon for the foreseeable future. At number 20, the Steelers are on the board. I'm going to take J.C. Latham. We're going to move Broderick Jones to left tackle. We're going to play J.C. Latham on the right side. I have questions about his motor, but I think the upside is there. I know it seems like NFL teams are higher on him. I don't know how high he ultimately goes, but I'm going to take him at 20 here. At number 21, the Miami Dolphins are on the board, and this pick has always been Jackson Powers-Johnson. It's not going to be the pick here. We're going to take Graham Barton simply because I just absolutely love his versatility on the offensive line. He can play guard. He can play center. He can play tackle. He can play everywhere on your offensive line. With starting tackle at Duke, I think that's what Miami needs. They need a guy who you can just put anywhere, and he's going to thrive. We're going to take Graham Barton at 21. At number 22, we're going to take Johnny Newton to the Seattle Seahawks. They need run defense, and I think Johnny Newton provides that. Byron Murphy's a great defensive tackle if you're looking for pass rush upside. I think Johnny Newton is a better run defender, and ultimately why Seattle is going to go that direction. He's my number one defensive tackle. He's an excellent athlete. They trade back, get a second, and get a guy who I probably would have taken for them at 16. At number 23, we got the LA Rams. And I'm going to take a receiver, or the LA Chargers, excuse me. I'm going to take a receiver here. It's going to be Adonai Mitchell. They need one of those guys that I think has the upside to be a number one. He's got the size. There are concerns that are coming out about his medicals. I'm really not too worried about it. I think he is going to be fine at the next level. And we're going to go with Adonai Mitchell at 23. At number 24, we've got the Dallas Cowboys. I think they need to go interior offensive line. Maybe you can move Taylor Smith to tackle. Either way, they need to go offensive line, in my opinion. And who is that going to be? It's going to be Zach Frazier from West Virginia. There are concerns about Jackson Powers-Johnson medicals. He's still going to go in the first round, I think. Frazier's awesome, and I've been saying for a long time, I don't think the gap between Frazier and Powers-Johnson is as big as some people think it is. I think he's got the upside. I think he's the best true center in this class. And this is a team that lost their starting center in free agency. So they're going to need to replace him. I think Zach Frazier is going to be the replacement. He's a very good run defender. He's got excellent lower body strength. He's got a low center of gravity. I think that's what this team is looking for. At number 25, we've got the Green Bay Packers, and shouldn't be a surprise here. It's going to be Cooper DeJean. It's really been Cooper DeJean forever. They went with an Iowa defender last year. They're going to go with one again this year. A guy who can play safety for you. He can play corner for you. He can return punts for you. He tested out way better than I think so many of us were expecting. And I'm really excited for what he could do in the league. I'm going to take him at 26. All right, 25. At number 26, we've got the Bucs, and this is going to be the Jackson Powers-Johnson spot. They lost Ryan Jensen to retirement. They're going to need to replace their starting center. Jackson Powers-Johnson's a bulldozer. I'm not concerned about the medicals. I think he's got all the upside in the world to be one of the best centers in the NFL immediately. I think he's going to be that good. He's like I said, a bulldozer. He's a powerful force in the run game, but he's also very, very good in run defense. So Jackson Powers-Johnson is headed to Tampa Bay. At number 27, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Byron Murphy's still here. I'm running the card in. The interior of this defensive line is an absolute mess. They drafted well last year. They got B.J. Ojolari. Maybe there's an edge rusher that falls. You pick pretty high in the second round. That's what I'm banking on right now because I don't really love Chop Robinson here, but I do love the value for Byron Murphy, who provides me some pass rush upside. He's going to be like my Javon Hargrave that we saw Jonathan Gannon have in Philadelphia, and that's what I love here. I'm going to take him at 27. At number 28, the Denver Broncos are on the clock, and again, I just don't see them going quarterback in round one. If that's the case, I think corner is going to be the position that they look at. It's going to be Nate Wiggins, a guy who's very good on the boundary. He's got tremendous speed on the outside, ran in the 4.3s. For this team to trade back and get Nate Wiggins, I think this is a home run move for Denver, and I'm going to have him go at 28. At 29, we're going to go corner. Again, it's going to be Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Detroit Lions. One of my favorite corners in the class. I think he's the best press man corner. He's maybe doesn't have the most incredible speed, allowed some plays over the top, but they've got good safeties there, and Brian Branch, who's a former teammate at Alabama. You've got Kirby Joseph. I like what they're building there. I desperately need a number one corner, so I'm going to take Kool-Aid to Detroit. At number 30, we've got the Baltimore Ravens, and I think it's going to be Tyler Guyton. I think they're going to take an athletic upside, tremendous size tackle. They lost help on that offensive line. Morgan Moses was traded. John Simpson left in free agency. You need to improve this O-line. I think Tyler Guyton has the upside to be a very good tackle. He's still a bit raw, still a bit unpolished, plays a bit high, out of control at times, but you can see some of his high-end reps are some of the best in this entire class, and I love this for Baltimore. At 31, I think a team could look to trade up here to try and get maybe one of these receivers. Maybe New England could come calling here, but I think this team is going to be going with a receiver. And to me, it's a receiver that I think so many people have been sleeping on in this pre-draft process. And he's all the way down here at 51 in Xavier Leggett. He's got incredible size. He's a bit of a late bloomer. I know people are going to talk about the Senior Bowl. He's incredible. He's got size, speed. He's got some of the best body control and hands of any of the receivers in this draft class, which I really love about him. And I think he's going to be a first-round pick. At 31, to be your Brandon Ayuk replacement, I like Xavier Leggett here. And at number 32, to round out the first round, who knows what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. Receiver's a big need. It's going to be Keon Coleman. I think he just provides something that this team doesn't have in this receiving room, and it's size, and it's the ability to win on the outside. He's going to be one of those jump ball contested catch guys at the next level. I get that, but they don't have that threat in this offense. You've got Kadarius Toney, who's going to be your slot threat to go all the way if he's ever on the field. You got Rashee Rice. You've got pieces, but you don't have a Keon Coleman. So there we have it. My final mock draft of the year. Bit surreal that we're finally here, but stay tuned. So much more fun content coming in the future. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.